Your brain doesn't only age on birthdays, it ages in the little loops you repeat so often that they stop feeling like choices. One more hour sitting, one more short night, one more way to take the edge off. That quietly teaches your brain to run on stress chemistry. No, cognitive decline isn't caused by one bad Tuesday. And this isn't a diagnosis. But the brain is a living system. It responds to what you do most often. If the same routine keeps cutting blood flow, cutting repair time, and adding toxic load, the result can feel like aging long before you call it aging. You start walking into rooms and forgetting why. You read a page and realize you absorbed almost nothing. You blame age, workload, hormones, or being busy. Sometimes those are part of the story. But sometimes the more useful question is simpler. What daily habit keeps pushing your brain into a weaker state? The first habit is long, unbroken sitting. Not sitting sometimes. Everybody sits. The problem is parking your body for hours while your brain is expected to stay sharp, calm, and well supplied. Think of your brain like a high-demand office at the top of a building. It doesn't store much fuel for later. It needs a steady delivery of oxygen, glucose, and clean blood flow. When you move, your muscles act like pumps. Your legs help blood return upward. Your blood vessels respond to the pressure changes. Your body gets little reminders that circulation still matters. When you sit for hours without interruption, those reminders get weaker. Blood flow becomes less dynamic. Muscles that normally help manage blood sugar go quiet. After meals, more sugar and fat can stay in circulation longer than they should. That matters because the brain is extremely sensitive to the condition of the blood it receives. This is why a person can exercise in the morning and still spend the rest of the day in a brain fog pattern. The gym session helps. It absolutely can. But if the next 8 hours are a chair, a screen, and almost no movement, your brain still spends most of the day inside a low-motion body. Let me make that practical. The goal isn't to become a fitness influencer in orthopedic shoes. The useful move is to break the long block. 2 or 3 minutes of walking. A few slow squats if your joints allow it, standing during one phone call, even a short loop around the room after meals. These tiny interruptions aren't dramatic, but they change the message your body receives. If you're watching this while your legs haven't moved in half an hour, subscribe, stand up for 10 seconds if you can, and come right back. That isn't the whole solution. It's just the point made visible. Because with the brain, duration matters. A chair doesn't have to feel dangerous to create a pattern. It just has to be repeated long enough. And the first warning sign usually isn't memory loss. It's mental sluggishness. Your thinking feels one step behind. You need more caffeine to reach normal. You open a tab, then forget why you opened it. You aren't broken. Your brain may simply be trying to work inside a body that hasn't been circulating well for hours. The second habit is treating sleep like leftover time. This one is easy to excuse because it looks productive. You answer one more email. You watch one more episode because your day didn't feel like yours. You scroll because the house is finally quiet. Then you cut sleep and promise you'll catch up later. Your brain doesn't treat sleep like decoration. It treats it like maintenance. During the day, brain cells are busy. They fire signals, process emotion, store fragments of memory, filter noise, and decide what deserves attention. That work creates waste. Sleep is when the brain shifts into a different mode. Fluid movement through the brain appears to increase. Memories get sorted. Emotional intensity gets cooled down. The next day doesn't start from zero, but it does need the night crew to finish the cleanup. When sleep is short or irregular, the first thing you may notice isn't dementia. It's a smaller, more familiar problem. You get more reactive. You misplace words. You read the same sentence twice. You crave faster food and faster stimulation. The brain begins choosing shortcuts because it didn't get enough repair time. And this is where people misread the signal. They think, I still function on 5 hours. Maybe you do, for now. But functioning isn't the same as recovering. A phone can run at 11% battery. It can still open apps. It can still receive messages. but every task becomes more fragile, and nobody calls that peak performance. The brain works in a similar way. You can push through a bad night. The question is, what happens when bad nights become your normal operating system? The World Health Organization's dementia risk guidance doesn't describe brain health as one magic supplement or one perfect diet. It keeps pointing back to modifiable risks, the everyday things that shape the body's long-term environment. Sleep belongs in that conversation because it changes attention, metabolism, blood pressure patterns, stress chemistry, and the way your brain cleans and consolidates information. If your sleep is disrupted by pain, breathing problems, medication, anxiety, shift work, or anything severe, that's a real health conversation, not a motivational quote. Talk with a qualified professional. But if the problem is mostly habit, the first move is surprisingly plain. Give sleep a runway. Not a perfect routine, a runway. Pick a time when stimulation starts going down. Dim the screen or put it across the room. Stop treating your bed like a second office. Keep the wake-up time steadier than the bedtime if life is messy. Your brain likes rhythm more than it likes heroic intentions, and watch what happens to your morning thinking. Better sleep doesn't always feel like fireworks. Sometimes it feels like less resistance. You remember the word faster. You don't need 3 attempts to begin a task. You feel less pulled toward sugar, caffeine, or irritation. That is brain protection in real life. Not glamorous, very powerful. The third habit is using alcohol or nicotine as a daily reset button. This one needs a careful tone because not everyone watching drinks or smokes. And if you do, this isn't a moral lecture. It's biology. The brain learns from relief. If a substance gives quick relief from stress, boredom, social tension, or exhaustion, your brain pays attention. It starts connecting that substance with the feeling of, finally, I can exhale. That doesn't mean you're weak. It means your reward system is doing exactly what reward systems do. The problem is the bill that comes later. Alcohol can make you feel sleepy while making sleep quality worse. It can relax the front door while disturbing the rooms inside. You may fall asleep faster, but the night can become more fragmented. Deep recovery can get weaker. The next morning, the brain may feel foggier, mood may be flatter, and attention may need more force to stay online. Nicotine has a different trick. It can feel like focus because it stimulates the nervous system. For a moment, attention sharpens. Then the level drops, and the brain asks for another lift. Over time, the routine can become less about focus and more about avoiding the discomfort of not having it. And both patterns can sit right next to normal life. A drink while cooking, a vape during work breaks, a cigarette after stress. Nothing looks dramatic from the outside, but inside the brain, the loop is being trained. Stress rises, substance enters, relief arrives, repeat. That loop matters for cognitive health because the aging brain doesn't just need information. It needs stable sleep, steady blood flow, lower inflammation, and less chemical stress. Alcohol and tobacco are both included in major dementia prevention discussions for a reason. They're modifiable. That word sounds boring, but it means something hopeful. The pattern can be changed. The practical step isn't to pretend change is easy. It's to identify the exact doorway where the habit enters. Is it after dinner? After conflict? When you feel lonely? When work finally stops? When your body is tired but your mind is still running? That doorway is the real target. Because if you remove the substance but leave the doorway unchanged, the brain still wants relief and will look for the fastest substitute. So replace the first 5 minutes, not your entire identity. After dinner, walk outside for 6 minutes before deciding anything. After work, make a drink that isn't alcohol and hold the same ritual glass. During a craving, delay by 10 minutes and let the nervous system come down 1 notch. If nicotine or alcohol use is heavy, daily, or hard to control, Get proper support. Withdrawal and dependency are health issues. You deserve help that is bigger than willpower. But don't miss the central point. The brain doesn't only remember facts, it remembers loops. And a loop repeated every day can become part of how your brain ages. Now put the 3 habits together and you can see why they accelerate decline in a way that feels confusing. Long sitting reduces the movement signals that help circulation and blood sugar control. Short sleep removes the repair window that helps attention, mood, and memory reset. Daily chemical relief can train the brain to depend on a fast external switch instead of rebuilding its own calmer baseline. Each one is common. Each one is easy to explain away, and that is exactly why they matter. The damage doesn't usually arrive like a movie scene. It arrives as a smaller life. You stop trusting your memory. You avoid complicated tasks. You reread simple instructions. You feel tired by decisions that used to be easy. You start calling it getting older, even when part of the pattern is being built by your routine. There is also a hopeful side. The brain is responsive. It adapts downward when the environment gets worse, but it can adapt upward when the signals improve. More movement breaks, better sleep rhythm, less reliance on daily substances for stress relief. These aren't glamorous interventions. They are the basic conditions under which the brain can do its job. And you don't need to fix all 3 at once. Start with the one that is most obvious in your life. If you sit for long blocks, add movement before you add complexity. If your sleep is chaotic, protect the first 30 minutes before bed. If alcohol or nicotine has become your reset button, don't start with shame. Start by naming the doorway and putting one slower form of relief in front of it. Small changes matter because the brain hears repetition louder than intensity. One perfect weekend won't protect a brain that gets 5 rough nights every week. One hard workout won't fully cancel 10 hours of stillness every day. One healthy month won't erase a daily stress loop if the loop comes back unchanged. What protects you is the boring pattern that happens often enough to become normal. If this helped you look at your routine with less panic and more clarity, like the video and subscribe to Human Vol. Not because your brain needs another channel. Because the next time a normal habit is quietly costing your body something, I want you to notice it before it gets loud. So today, choose one interruption. Move after a long sit. Protect tonight's sleep runway. Replace one daily reset with something that doesn't borrow from tomorrow's brain. Your future memory may not thank you in words, but it may thank you by still being there when you reach for it.